Sure sign of death, no medicine works. Welcome, viewers. We're going to continue with our tabloid. We're going to page 3, uh, titled, the story is titled The Ghost in Town to Claim Back His Room. Can you imagine that? Let's read. Let's read on. The residents of Kokwasi, a suburb of Enchi, were flabbergasted when a woman, Madame Grace Nketia, kept on shouting for over 3 minutes without breathing as if she was at the point of death. This happened about 2 weeks ago. Two men who gave their names as Eric and Johnson said they were on their way to see a friend when they heard the horrible screams and decided to find out the cause. When we got there, she was standing at the middle of the house, pointing to the door of her room. We opened the door, and to our surprise, we saw her late brother, Stephen, sitting on her sister's sofa, feely feely. Feely feely means manifestedly. Manifestedly. We quickly came out of the room in fear, they said. About 5 minutes, about 5 minutes, the house was crowded with people from all corners. Paragraph. Some finally, some family members tried to open the door to see what was happening, but it was impossible. It was completely locked. They pushed for over 3 minutes, and it suddenly opened, causing over 5 men to topple onto each other. While some brave men entered the room, multitude of crowds, but inquisitive men entered the room. Multitude of crowds, but inquisitive men and women flew out of the house. Stephen was nowhere to be found in his sister's room anymore. When the woman was contacted for the details of the story, she said her brother Stephen Nketia died over 2 years ago when he was a tenant in that room now being occupied by her. I have filled the house with my own furniture, fridges, television sets. I pay the rents and all the bills. I've been staying here with my two children for 2 years, for 3 years now. No nightmare, strange sounds, nor continuous crying by any of my children until 3 days ago, when my 2-year-old boy cried the whole night without sleeping. Yesterday, I heard a strange noise in my room, which I never understand, and about 4:30 p.m. today, I heard that same noise and went to see the cause, only to see my late brother relaxing comfortably three, on my three-in-one sofa. I don't know if Stephen is coming back to occupy his room, she commanded. She commented. That's the end of the story. Model kills her lover. Next story on the same page. Model Stephanie Williams killed her boyfriend in a restaurant after he made her wait over an hour. A courthead. John Lamont. You see, some people don't play with time. Here in Ghana and Africa in general, you give somebody time and then he pushes the time 2 hours later or something. Mm. John Lamont, 22, went to do a drug deal after his starter. Sorry, John Lamont, 22, went to do a drug deal after his starter, leaving Williams 30 alone. On his return, she stabs him with a stick knife. David Turner, QC QC prosecuting, told Liverpool Crown Court, Williams of Netherley, Liverpool, denies murder. Our comment. What is the world coming to? Why should somebody who claimed to be in love with someone decide to kill him horribly like that for the mere fact he went out and did not come early? This is the comment of the paper. Mm. Can life be equated to time? And the personality that committed the barbaric crime a model is a question. Someone that people regard as their favorite and their association with her always makes them feel important, or is a fame that has gone into her head. Why not leave the poor boy's life for him and take your popularity and riches away? So this is a comment of the editor, like I'm saying. Why should somebody of that caliber behave so inhumanely? Paragraph. It is like it is like it has now become a curse to attain a high position in life. A lot of these people don't know their attainment or achievement in life goes with responsibility. This has become so rampant with especially women of high status demeaning themselves to base instincts that a lot of men are scared of them. Of course, men will be scared of this story alone will let men be scared of models. Mm. People always accuse models of arrogance and inconsistency, and one is forced to believe the observer's notions, considering the recent spate of negative events perpetrated by well respected models. Full stop. When shall we say of big time models and other women of international repute like Naomi Campbell, Jennifer Lopez, and others? It's in fact a shame and disgrace to womanhood, who, as mothers, have now become man killers, killing the souls and spirit of men left and right, by James Doe, our foreign correspondent. Next story on page 4, Travel and Sea. They cut off their penises. Pardon me to use the word because the meaning wouldn't be fully grasped. Mm. So may God forgive me and may my viewers too forgive me. It's not a nice word. God doesn't use it in his holy books. These are terms only used in medical circles. So in the in the developed world, where sex change is as common as the change of one's clothes, not all men you see in the streets are men, and not all women you see are women. For some curious reasons, men want to be women, and they cite it as an inner feeling they have to fulfill. They say they are women trapped in the body of men. So you'll find men wearing women's panties, brasiers, leggings, and all that kind of stuff. Very weird, I bet. Paragraph. Paragraph. Uh, the women also say they feel they are men and so begin to wear shorts and men's shirts and trying to shave. I can't understand whether it is a kind of spiritual possession or not. Oh, uh, you writer. Who is the writer? Joseph Ketty. Joseph Ketty, come to Ghana today and see. Women are in shorts. Hmm? They have advanced, let me use the word advanced, to wearing only shorts in marketplaces, in public places. They wear shorts to travel from place to place. Hmm? So Nobody can stop it except God. Okay, let's go. I can't understand whether it is a kind of spiritual possession or what. One priest thought he was one priest thought he was a woman in a man's body, and started wearing underskirts and braziers. When a boy saw him in his office dressing in those weird things, he was given the sack. Hmm. Now it's open. Now it's open. They are doing it openly. Hmm. And we are afraid the era of Sodom and Gomorrah is coming back. And it will be terrible if God finally gets angry with us. Okay, new paragraph. The men, sorry, got the sack. Now, when it turns out that those involved go to the extent of changing themselves from men to women and vice versa, it can be horrifying. What they do is to save towards the operation. When people are hungry, Africans are hungry. Africans and other people around the third world are hungry. People are saving money to do operations. Mhm. Towards the operation paragraph. The men are brought back without their okay. The men are brought back without their penis. Instead, a vagina is sorry, pardon. Instead, a vagina is created for them. They can't have children, though, because they have no wombs and ovaries. So you see, I'm sorry again, I have to call these words for people to know. This is evil. Evil begets evil. Because they've done evil and we want to let people be aware of it, we also have to go into evil. Mhm. By calling names that God doesn't call, never calls, but knows better than us. God knows these names better than us. He, in fact, taught us the names, and He doesn't mention them. And we mention them like that. But it's necessity. It's very necessary that we mention them here. Uh, what they do is to save, sorry, uh, we stopped at ovaries, yes. The women also have penises constructed for them, and they take hormones to grow beard to their faces. If you see them and someone tells you they are they were once women, you won't believe it. What I want to know from readers is that did God create some people, men, and gave them the bodies of women and vice versa? Or is this some kind of madness akin to the developed countries? Yes, I think the latter is right. It's a kind of madness akin to the developed countries. I will say yes, the latter. May maybe one of you, dear readers, will be able to give me an answer. Meanwhile, travel and see. Yes, the answer is that man the answer is that man is created by God the way God likes. He can create some women to look like men and some men to look like women. But that doesn't mean they should change themselves to men, what we call transgender, if I'm right. That doesn't mean that. God, in His wisdom, does what He likes by creating men to look like some men to look like women and some women to look like men. And this shouldn't be abused by men or by people. Okay, let's go to birthday madness. Birthday madness. I penetrated her and she cried out. This is a story by Frank KY, if he's alive. I didn't say you wrote it and you wanted it to be read, and we are reading it. We read it and we are reading it again. and probably we shall be read it again and again and again. So Frank KY writes this. There was this 14-year-old girl who was always taunting me with her body, and I became really friendly with her, hoping that I could get to squeeze her one day when nobody was looking. On my birthday, I invited her and she was so helpful because she served so smartly that everyone was happy with her. During dance time, I danced with her a bit like my small sister. I was 18 and she was 14. When her warm breast rubbed against my chest, I felt the current run through my body. She People can describe feelings. Let me take that again. When when her warm breast rubbed against my chest, I felt the current run through my body. And he asked, "She real electric current." This Frank saying, saying this, say, "She real electric current." Paragraph. After the birthday, I deliberately asked her to stay on to help us pack. After which, to help us pack. After which, I would see her off right to her doorsteps because it was about 10:30 p.m. We did pack off, and it was around 11 p.m. when I decided to see her off, but not before I offered her some wine, some wine, a glass to show some wine, a glass to show my appreciation for good job done. Get away, get away. You had an evil intention, not to show your appreciation. Okay. I also planned to give her money to make her happy. Paragraph. Her house was about 400 meters, and we walked there. But midway, we sat at a spot called Cape Three Points. We sat at a spot called Cape Three Points. It was a favorite meeting place where area boys used to sit and chat deep into the night. Paragraph. By this time, the glass of potent wine I had given her had taken effect. Oh my God, had taken effect. Uh, that was when I realized that the moment of truth had finally arrived. I grasped for her breast and she took my hands off it. I waited patiently and tried again. Men are bad, our boys are bad. He said, I I waited patiently and tried again, getting hold of her large nipples, gently massaging it. She moaned and called my name. Oh, Frank. I held the other breast and massaged it lovingly and tenderly. Before I knew, I had removed her panties and she was real wet. I made her sit on me as I penetrated deep into her. She almost cried out of pain, but I covered her mouth. Seeing it was uncomfortable for her, I made her stoop and went in back door. That's Frank's description of Frank. And went I don't know how you feel now if this is read outside by Frank KY. So seeing it was uncomfortable for her, I made her stoop and went in back door. In minutes, I exploded into her. Hmm. Paragraph. The next day, the police were in my house to send me to the charge office to answer charges of defilement. Mhm. Apparently, Her father had realized that she was defiled. I got 18 months at Nsawam. Kai! Eh? 2 minutes affair. Eh? He got 18 months in Nsawam. He was lucky. Only 18 months, 1.5 years for defiling a 14-year-old girl. I think the judge was lenient. Hmm? Okay, next story. National Service Palava. I gave him a bloody nose. Hmm? Who is the writer? I don't think the writer's name is there. Okay, let's read on. Hmm. I offered my national service during the PNDC era. PNDC is the Armed era, People's National Defense Council. Hmm. During the PNDC era, with one of the so-called revolutionary organs. I was a university graduate at the time and thought and thought it disgusting that some middle school leavers, dropouts, and form fivers were those giving orders. Well, I had to obey for a while, but sooner than the idiots realized, I started asserting myself and refusing orders. The boss realized I wanted to throw my weight upon the up, my weight about and called me to his office. Yankee, he said, you are an intelligent college boy. I'm not, I'm not, I corrected him. Then who are you? I am a university graduate. Excellent. So you are a scholar, eh? Excitement, I retorted in French. Sorry. He said, exactement. He said, exactement. I retorted in French. He said, exactement. Uh, this is an arrogant uh, uh, university graduate. Yeah, it's continuous here. He looked warily at me and said, we don't eat academic achievement here. You know, we want you to follow orders and serve the revolution. If you feel too big, you can't do your national service here. So stop jumping about and stick to orders. Paragraph. I didn't answer or comment. During the afternoon break, one of the two no guys was banding it bandying it around that the boss had given me a real scolding and that I deserved every bit of it. Paragraph. Of course, I got angry and got up to argue with him. The argument resulted in a fist fight, and I took this opportunity to to congratulate myself on a good work done. The guy thought I was one of those soft dadabas. He didn't know I was a real cracker. He threw three fast blows, and I dodged all. Then I unleashed my I unleashed my own two unleashed my own two in rapid I unleashed my own two. That means his own two blows in rapid succession. One caught him square on the face, on the nose, the other on the eye. He engaged me, intent on tackling me to the ground, and he succeeded. I crashed to the ground, and he was right on top of me. But I knew how to displace people, no matter their weight. Before he realized it, I was on top of him. Before we were separated, I had given him a black eye, a bloody nose, and some good beating. When I felt proud, and I felt proud but I earned the sack, so I never completed my national service. Yes, you won't complete it because you went to show your muscles. You say you should go and do national service, not to go and beat people. Beggar in Town. Beware of visa praying pastors by Junior Asiedu. I think we will leave this story because people go about posing as pastors and that they can get people visas and then they run away with their monies. I think that's all that the story is about. Which is the true religion? Was Elijah John the Baptist? Okay, I think this is worth reading. Anyone who believes in life after death must be on the right course as far as religion is concerned. I don't I don't mean the kind of afterlife the kind of afterlife Christians often mean. I mean reincarnation. Paragraph. Uh, People don't know and will never know that they have lived before many times, many times over. You are you are born and you die, and your soul enters into the body of another woman to be born as a baby, and you grow and die and get born again, and you grow and die and get born again to start the process. If you are, sorry, the printing here is not very clear for me. If you are in tune with the process and with the law of karma, you will always be happy. Those who are born cripples are only suffering for their misdeeds in the past life. So no one should think sins are forgiven. Oh my God, what is this? No one should think sins are forgiven. Viewers, do you agree with him? I don't, anyway. Mm. They are not. If you were a robber in your pastime, you by all means be robbed and killed in this present time, or by the one or by the one to come to atone for your sins. Such is the beauty of and such is the beauty of this universal religion. Oh God. It doesn't require anyone going to church or pray to God or Jesus or any other person. The worship, the worship you do is to do good and attract favorable influence to yourself so that you do not suffer whenever you die and come back to life. There are many instances of reincarnation in the Bible. One is the famous reincarnation of Elijah, who came back as John the Baptist. When Elijah killed all those uh, Baal priests, when Elijah killed all those Baal priests after they failed to set aright, after they failed to set alight the pile of wood, that wasn't the end. Sorry. Elijah caused the Baal prophets to be beheaded and be paid for it. When he reincarnated as John the Baptist, he had he had to atone for what he had to atone for that which has for that which he did against fellow men. So the law of karma took effect, and he also had to be beheaded. And ask yourself why he couldn't save himself. It was because he was to atone for a sin, and for a sin, and there was no compromise. Let us do what is right. Thou shalt not kill. Well, I don't know. I don't know how viewers will see this story. I cannot buy it anyway. Okay, the Jesus diet. Jesus emphasis on raw food. Mm. Simple sentence, Jesus emphasized on people eating raw food. The platform of righteousness. The Lord thy God, I'm jealous. God visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, upon the third and fourth generation of them that. Okay, let's read it. Let's read it. It's very common these days to hear phrases like thank God or God or good God Almighty or God knows. Most of the time, upon hearing these statements, it is assumed that we are all referring to the same God, the God of the God of the Scriptures. However, we live in a society wherein there legally exists over 20,000 different religions. Can you hear that? Over 20,000 different religions, even though this paper was a paper of 2002. So can you imagine how many thousands there are now? Because the religions are coming up, more religions are coming up. So 20,000 different religions, and therefore God, including those that worship Satan. Well, that doesn't make sense. Okay, let me take that again. However, we live in a society wherein there legally exists over 20,000 different religions, and therefore God, including those that worship Satan. Full stop. We can no longer assume that the same God is being referred to in the statements, for the scriptures spoke of a time when gross darkness, that's into brackets ignorance, would cover the people, and they would worship anything, including wood and stone. I think they were doing it before the Bible, before the scriptures, or before some of the scriptures. Okay. Yet the Bible from Genesis to Malachi gives credence to God Yah. Yah spelled Y-A-H, capital Y-A-H. So how did there come to be over 20,000 different religions given credence to about as many gods? Who would possibly benefit from this religious diversity through confusion? It's a question. Remember, since the beginning of time, there are only two forces in this universe vying for the souls of men: God and Satan. Therefore, it is easy to discern whose platform would allow for the worship of everything conceivable, including the worship of Satan. We must ask, we must ask ourselves, would the God of creation, who mandated that there be no other God before me, allow for the worship of Satan or any other God? Absolutely not. Who wrote this? This was written by Ben Amini. This article was written by Ben Amini. Okay. The first plank on the platform of righteousness is about God, the Creator. The first commandment written off in Exodus 20 attests to the oneness and singularity of God. In fact, the God of creation was so adamant about this being understood that he spent 6 verses describing exactly what he meant and the strength of the blessings or the degree of punishment that he would exercise if this commandment was kept or broken. Okay. Uh, and Yah spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the which had brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Full column. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and shewing mercy. And shewing mercy. Shewing is spelled Hewing. And shewing, I don't know if it's showing mercy. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me. I think it's showing. And keep my commandment. Exodus 20, 1 to 6. Okay, so you can go to Exodus 21 to 6, you will see the right thing there. It's therefore clear that the God of creation, the God of Israel, is the only one, is the only true God, and that only a society void of the God, void of this God, would promote the concept of numerous gods religions. Indeed, the blessings that the Creator has in store for those who unify and for those who unify under the banner of worshiping Him are vast and eternal. Source: Ben Amini, anointed spiritual leader of the African Hebrew Israelis of Jerusalem. Okay, maybe I don't think we should. I think we should stop here, but I'll read the headlines of what we may go into next week, or next in our next video. Sorry. This evil practice must stop. Then they graduate as homosexuals. Then of missing girls and rapists. Levy them for sake of the sick. Then they are desecrating Pando forest. Then discard the stupid beliefs, among others. Okay. Black Hammer refuses to leave. The new mini series, The Adventures of the Archbishop. Okay, maybe in our next video we'll read the uh, first three captions that we just read. Mm. So there isn't enough time to continue for today. To continue with today. Thank you very much. Ilaleka, bye bye. May God bless you.